Hello all, welcome to the new Simply Put series by CalArMayus Academy. This is Priyanka Mahapatra, faculty at CalArMayus. So today we'll be having a discussion on the newspaper dated 23rd of February 2024. So coming to the text and the context section of the Hindu newspaper, no articles were important from our exam point of view. Then coming to the explain section of the Indian Express newspaper, 3 articles were important. First is about the Kiru Hydel project. Then second is about the situation of the farmers, and the third article which was important is about the open book exam plan by CBSE. So these are the 3 articles we are going to discuss today, which is displayed on your screen. So the first discussion is about that beyond MSPs and protests that are happening, that are demanding for a legal guarantee backing MSPs, we will be learning some basic facts about the Indian farmers. We all know that the farmer protests, they have intensified, they have grown to a large extent in the past few years, especially since the current union government introduced those 3 new farm laws in 2020 and it was repealed a year later. But you need to understand that this MSP debate is just the tip of a major deeper problem underlying the agricultural sector in India. Indian agriculture has been grossly unremunerative for most of the farmers for a longer time. So this will be seen in this discussion how it has been unremunerative for most of the farmers for a longer time. First is the agriculture's lopsided role in the national economic output. So at the time of independence, as you can see in this table, that the India's total workforce involved in the agriculture was 70%. India was predominantly rural and agrarian during that time. And there was a balance here. There was a balance seen between the proportion of people involved in the agriculture, that is the 70%, and the agriculture's contribution to the India's economic output, that is 54%. But over the decades, this has fallen rapidly. Over the decades, the agriculture's contribution to the economy has fallen sharply. You can see that how today we are seeing that the total workforce which is involved in the agriculture is 55%. That means it has just dropped from 70%, but the agriculture's contribution to the economy has dropped sharply. From 54%, it has dropped down to just 18%. So this fact you need to remember from your mains point of view. So you can see in the table over here, this table has been brought from the Registrar General of India, where it is showing that during 1951, 70% people were involved in agriculture sector, and today it is only 55%. Then comes the second issue, that is the rising proportion of farm laborers as against the cultivators. So first we need to understand who is a cultivator and then who is an agricultural laborer. Cultivator is one who is engaged in the cultivation of the land owned, who is owning the land or held from the government or held from the private persons or institutions for payment in money, kind or share. Okay, and agricultural labor who is working on another's person's land for the wages in money, kind or share, right? So this is the main difference with regard to the ownership of the land. Agricultural labor, he doesn't own any land, but cultivator, he owns a land. Okay, so here another worsening state of affairs is that the relative proportion of the cultivators and the agricultural laborers within those who are working on the farms. Here we can see that how the agricultural laborers, their proportion has risen over the years, and there is a fall in the relative proportion of cultivators. Okay, cultivators, they have fallen from 72% to 45% in 2011, whereas the proportion of agricultural laborers, they have risen from 28% to now 55% in 2011. Then the third issue is that most of the Indian farmers, they have small and the marginal land holdings, and almost half of them are indebted, right? So there is high level of indebtedness seen in the agricultural sector of India. Around 70% of all the agricultural households, they have a land holding less than 1 hectare. And 88% of all the agricultural household, they're having less than 2 hectare of land. So this you need to remember from your exam point of view, where you have the scope of writing about the sorry state of affairs of the Indian agricultural sector. Then we come to the double burden which the farmers are facing. On one side, they are facing low incomes, and on other side, they are facing high incidence of debt. In the states of West Bengal and Odisha, it is seen that they are having lower levels of farm incomes, whereas the indebtedness is average or above average. In 2019, the average monthly income per household was only 10,000 rupees, whereas 50% of all the farm households were indebted. Then we come to the terms of the trade against the farmers, which is also in the sorry state of affair. So first we need to understand what is terms of trade, which is important from your prelims point of view. So it is the ratio between the prices paid by the farmers for their inputs and the prices received by the farmers for their output. And if the terms of trade is less than 100, then it means that the farmers are worse off. So you can refer this table to see the situation of the farmers over the years. In 2004-5, the condition was worsening. It was way below 100. Then it crossed 100 in the year of 2010-11, and then it is showing a stable trend just below the 100. Now it is 97. Then in comparison to the global counterparts, India is also standing last in terms of receiving support, in terms of producer protection. You can see it in the graph that how India is standing last in terms of receiving support. So what is this producer protection? It is defined as the ratio between the average price received by the producers measured at the farm gate, including the net payments per unit of the current output, and the border price, which is also measured at the farm gate. Okay, so here also India is standing last in terms of receiving support. Then India is also ranking last on total support estimates. Here you can see it in the graph. Hence, this MSP debate is just the tip of a major deeper problem. India is a grossly unremunerative sector for most of the Indian farmers. So the nature of India's farm distress we are seeing is structural problem. It cannot be triggered by any recent passing event. So the factors responsible for the farm distress are very long standing, and merely tweaking MSPs or providing any short-term promises will not provide a sustainable solution. So this is about the sorry state of affairs of Indian agriculture, which you should be knowing from your exam point of view. Then we come to the second article about the CBSE's open book exam plan. What is it, why now, and how it can impact the students. So this becomes very, very important when you have to write your essay or ethics answer. You can give it as a way forward. Okay, in an essay where education is a topic. Okay, so let's now understand that how it is helpful. Okay, so this is in news because CBSE has proposed a pilot study to check the feasibility of open book exam for the classes 9 to 12. So what is this open book exam? Where students are allowed to refer to their books and notes to answer questions. And here the aim is to study or to know that how students have been able to apply concepts instead of just copying information from the available material. Okay, so these test questions in the open book exam, they are structured in such a way that the students, they have to apply their mind, they have to apply the concepts which they would have read from before instead of just copying information from the available material. And here the aim is to understand the analytical skills of the students and whether the student is able to understand the bigger picture. Okay, and this open book exam plan is a transition from the rote memorization to competency based learning, and it has also got a benefit of being less stressful. Okay, so these are the benefits and the aim of conducting open book exam plan. So these case study of conducting open book exam plan, you can quote it in your essay and ethics answers. And this is not at all a new idea. In 2014, CBSE had already introduced this concept, this open text based assessment, to relieve the students from the burden of mugging up information. But it was discontinued in the year 2017-18 due to the very reason that the schools, the institutions, they were unable to cultivate the critical abilities among the students. In 2021 study also that was conducted in DU, where the open book exam was conducted, there it was noticed that the mean marks scored by the students, though it got higher than the closed book exam, but the university was not focusing on developing the skills required for the exam for the student to crack an OBE, open book exam. So here the main role lies with the institution or the school to train students to face the OBE. That means they need to train to cultivate the analytical skills among the students, so that they can think of the bigger picture, right? So that their analytical skills can be highlighted. Let's now come to the Kiru Hydel project, which is one of the places which is linked to Satyapal Malik, who is the governor, and the CBI raids happening there. So here we are not interested in the raids and the process of raids, but we are concerned about the Kiru Hydel project. You need to know all the facts about the Kiru Hydel project. This is important from your prelims point of view. So this hydroelectric project is a run of the river scheme being developed over the Chenab River. You need to know that this Hydel project is over the Chenab River in the Kishtwar Tehsil of Doha district in the Jammu Kashmir, India. Okay, so first thing you need to remember that it is in the JNK and it is over this river, Chenab River. And this will be constructed between the Kirthai upstream and the Kwar downstream hydroelectric project. And it was developed by the Chenab Valley Power Projects, a joint venture between the National Hydroelectric Power Corporation (NHPC), Jammu and Kashmir State Power Development Corporation, and Power Trading Corporation. So from your exam point of view, you need to have a familiarity with these institutions and how it is a run of the river scheme and how it has been developed over the Chenab River and to which state it belongs to. Okay, so this was all about today's discussion. The short notes of this video discussion will be provided in our Telegram channel, that is Kalamais Academy. So you can join our Telegram channel with the link provided in the description box. Do join our channel for all the important posts and updates. Okay, so thank you so much for the discussion.